In the first two, we talked about who owns the review. We then talked about ensuring that the preparation has been done. Now we're into the review. In this case, the important thing is that you're giving good and effective feedback to somebody. Now, there's a few things in this that need to be considered. What do we mean by effective feedback? It means that the person has been told something that they understand, they may not like, okay, so let's differentiate between that. They may not like the feedback, but they respect it, they accept it. Let's go back to the doctor's analogy, okay? The doctor has listened to what the patient has had to say. The patient has said, right, this is wrong, this is what's happened, and so forth, and the doctor is now saying, right, this is what's wrong, this is what you need to do. And maybe it's a change to the person. Maybe you got to change your lifestyle, maybe you got to change your eating patterns, maybe you got to, I don't know what it is, but you got to make some change. The key here is that the doctor is putting this in a way that the person feels motivated to take action with regard to it, okay? So when giving somebody feedback, the key here is the way that you go about doing it, and that you're doing it with a level of respect, that you're doing it with a desire for the benefit of the individual. The best example I can give you is years ago was told to me about a doctor who told somebody that they're very overweight, and they were obesely overweight. And the doctor said, I've got some good news for you. You can eat anything you like. I'm just going to tell you what you like, okay? So in other words, the doctor was not trying to focus them on the negative side of things, but rather trying to turn it around and make it something useful and valuable for the person. So when you're giving feedback, that is what you're trying to do, is you're not trying to come over as negative, you're trying to come over as a fresh set of eyes, as somebody who's can see things from a different angle. Don't pretend that you know it all, because maybe you may still have got it wrong, maybe a little bit of something you weren't aware of, okay? So you don't want to come over as though you're absolutely right in everything that you say, but you do want to be honest. You want to give that feedback and say, look, this isn't working. And you can lead up with the question, did you think this worked? Well, you know, my perception of it is it didn't work very well. It could have worked better, you know, and don't focus on the negative side of it. I like to use the on a scale of 1 to 10 approach with people, where I say on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you think you did in this particular instance? The person, most people will not give themselves a 10. Some may, and I'll come back to that in a second, but most people will give themselves a number of some sort, 7, 8, 9, whatever it is. All you have to do at that moment is agree with them. It doesn't matter whether they've given you a fair number or not. You just agree with the number that they've given you, and then you say to them, okay, so what do you think you could have done to have made that an 8? Or what do you think you need to do next time to make it an 8, assuming they gave you a 7? So notice, what did we do there? We took the next number that they took and said, what do we need to get to that level? Don't go, if they give themselves a 7, what do you need to do to become a 10? Because then it looks like it's a big mountain to climb. But if we just need to do an 8, then, you know, it also opens the door for the next time you have that discussion with them informally through the year. How are you doing? Do you think you're an 8 yet? Okay, now what do you need to do to become a 9? As I said, if the person gives themselves a 10, then your opportunity is to say, well, okay, fine, but what would you need to do if you wanted to become an 11? Okay, so you just, again, you're not arguing with them, you're not trying to do it, all you're trying to do is give effective feedback to somebody. So get the person to engage, and then tell them, okay, this is what we see. There are times you're going to have to be straight. There's got to be times when you're going to say, sorry, that's not it, this is the way it is. But as long as you do it, 1, with respect, and 2, with some sort of suggestion as to the way to move forward on it, then it's a positive thing. It only becomes negative when it's your impression, no facts to back it up, done out of emotion and not facts at all, and comes over vindictively and no recommendations to go with it. That's what turns people off. They just go, well, that's your opinion then. Okay? So when you don't fudge it with people, whatever you do, don't ignore it. If somebody's got something wrong, 9 times out of 10, they know they've got it wrong. And if you aren't dealing with it, then it is a reflection on you and your ability to be a leader. I can tell you now, there's nothing that can lose you respect more with people than in some way just fudging the issue with them and trying to pretend it didn't happen. People look to you for leadership. Okay? That's what they want from you. All right? And by fudging it, you are showing what type of leader you are. So don't fudge it. The word is effective. Get it in your mind. Think out the processes that you need to have the conversations, and then just get on, deal with the conversations. Start on a high, end on a high. Deal with those things in the middle. Hope that's been helpful. See you next time.